Hi, I'm Endora and welcome back to my 100 Days of Survival Minecraft in version 1.21.11. We started off day 11 by finding a 21 vein of diamonds. I had to speed up this clip to 300% in order to fit it all. After we found that vein, I went up back to the surface to go and smelt my iron. As I was smelting the iron, a creeper came out of nowhere and blew up all of my chests. I then built new chests and had to put all of my stuff back in it before it despawned. However, now all of my items were no longer organized. I decided the best thing I could do from this point on was to go on an animal killing spree. But it's okay, I calmed down after that. I went to go and sleep for the night, and I went straight back to my animal killing spree once I woke up. Eventually I came across this lava pool and decided it would be a smart idea to get obsidian for an enchanting table and a nether portal. And then I went back to killing animals. Okay, at this point I actually got bored and decided to sleep. I then went back to my base, and I crafted an enchanting table and built my nether portal. Before breeding animals and setting up my enchanting table. I then decided that I should fill in the creeper hole, you know, out of sight, out of mind. This time, instead of sleeping, I explored during the night to see if I could find any zombie villagers. I found one and I trapped him in a boat and made sure to build him a roof. As I made my way back to the base, I ran into a skeleton horse, which then spawned an army of skeletons and their horses. Once I had killed all the skeletons, I bred my animals again, enchanted my diamond pickaxe with efficiency 4 on breaking 3, and made a full set of diamond armor. I also made a diamond axe, and then headed into the nether. The spawn was very enclosed and sucked. I spent a while looking around to try to find either another fortress or a bastion. However, I did not find either. All I found was quartz. Eventually, I made my way back to my base and then spent the night traveling the ocean to try to find a village. On day 15, I found the village and put a villager in the boat to bring back. He traveled a couple thousand blocks with me back to the base, where I trapped him in a box. I then went back for a second villager, as I didn't have the resources to cure my zombie villager yet. I trapped them both in a box. I then started chopping down a lot of wood, that way I could clear out the area where I wanted to build. I was planning on building multiple Italian-styled buildings for my villagers to live in. I started to dig a hole to breed up the villagers, and then I fell into a huge cave. I decided to light up the cave, but didn't mine any of the ores that I ran past, as I wanted to wait until I had fortune on my pickaxe. As I was exploring the cave, I ran into a trial chamber and killed a few waves of zombies to get trial keys. I managed to get one trial key and unlocked the vault to get a trident. At that point, I decided it would be too risky to continue fighting waves of monsters without any better armor, so I left. I continued to work on my villager hole. Once I had placed a couple of beds, I brought the villagers down there and started to breed them up. I then slept and then bred my animals, before making my way back down to the villager area with more beds. I went back into the Nether as I needed more quartz in order to finish the build I was planning. However, without fortune, it was taking forever and I had to go to a lot of different veins. I also wanted to find a fortress. As I was exploring, I came across a gravel patch, and then everything went downhill. I placed that block and jumped even though the gravel started to fall, resulting in my death. However, this wasn't as bad as it could be. I didn't have any of my actual diamond gear on me at the time, so I was able to actually start using the gear that I had crafted a few days before. Once I had re-geared, I went back into the Nether, this time with the sole purpose of just finding a fortress. I decided to explore a way I hadn't gone yet, and ended up finding a fortress and killing blazes. I got about 7 blaze rods, and then tried to find the nether warts. However, I didn't manage to find any. The part of the fortress where the nether warts normally spawns was a dead end. But because I was only really planning on brewing weakness potions to cure my villagers, it didn't matter that much. Weakness is one of the few potions that don't require nether warts to brew, so rather than looking for another fortress, I just went straight back to my base. I planned to make a fermented spider eye, however I realized I needed brown mushrooms for that. I remember seeing some brown mushrooms while I was in the Nether, so I went back through to get those and crafted the spider eye. When I got back to the overworld, it was raining. I used the rain to my advantage and moved as a zombie villager to a location closer to where I was planning on building. I then started to cure him and began working on my trading hall. Once he was cured, I decided to move him despite not having many walls down yet. I connected rails from where he was to the building, and then trapped him in a corner. I also made sure I went to go and breed up my villagers again, that way I would be able to move more. I turned my first cured villager into a Fletcher and traded some sticks with them. I then had to go and mine some more diorite. Once I had enough, I continued working on my base. It started raining while I was building yet again, so I decided to sleep. As day 23 began, I headed out into the ocean to try and find calcite to add to my gradient. Geodes are usually easiest to find exposed in the ocean, however it still took me 6 minutes to find my first geode. I collected plenty of calcite, but rather than returning straight to my base, I decided to explore the area, as I hadn't been out this far before. I found a Badlands and a desert, and as day 24 began, I collected sand, cacti, and quite a decent bit of terracotta. I wanted to have access to these resources if I needed them while I was building. I also traveled a bit farther and found a mangrove swamp. I collected the propagule and tons of mud, as I was planning on using mud bricks in my build. As the sun rose on the 25th day, I swam back to my base. I added the calcite to the gradient of the wall. I also found this wandering trader who had absolutely nothing good, so I decided to kill him for his leads. I also tested out adding smooth quartz to the very top of my gradient. Eventually I decided that I should add a floor to the building. Overall, days 11 through 25 passed by very quickly. I managed to start building my villager trading hall, but I still have a long way to go. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video to see how my villager trading hall turns out.